So today it all starts. The first teaser for DLC 4 has finally been revealed, and unfortunately it's not nearly as cool as the first two teasers that we saw for DLC 3, especially with, I guess, the kind of the page of the Canorium and then also Samantha in the MPD, which was just so cool. Probably still to this day one of the coolest things that we've seen in zombies, or I guess single image that we've seen in zombies, but instead we still got some interesting images, one that really doesn't mean much, at least to most people, and then one that is slightly more interesting, and we'll get into both of them. So the first one I want to talk about real quick, but since there's not much to say about it, is this image right here, and this was what Treyarch changed their Twitter profile to, and they changed it from, I think it was some radioactive symbol because of the Apocalypse Z event, and now they changed it to this, and this is obviously the Group 935 less logo, because it's the Group 935 logo without the numbers 935 inside of it. And this is nothing new. This kind of all started during Black Ops 3. Like every single map in Black Ops 3, if they had the Group 935 logo, it did not have the numbers 935. And personally, I've always wondered why that was the case. Like why? I mean, why would you remove them? And maybe that was something that is kind of going to be explored in this, and maybe it was something that was in front of our face for ever since Black Ops 3, and now it's finally going to explain the significance of it or something like that. And I do want to mention that actually not in all of Black Ops 3 when we saw the Group 935 logo, we didn't always have the Group 935 less logo inside Black Ops 3, because there were a couple exceptions. One of them was actually on the bombs inside Gorod Krovi. Of course, the bomb step that I'm talking about, when you just have to go turn off the bombs in a specific order, of course, so the bombs would have the 935 logo on it, and those would have the 935 numbers on it, but the rest of them, to my knowledge, all didn't have it. So, you know, there's that. But as for what's going on here, I mean, it's rusty around it. Maybe that means Call of the Dead, I guess. I mean, there's rust on metal. I honestly can't tell you more than that. Also, maybe there's a little frost on it, so maybe, again, Call of the Dead, I don't know, but that's just taking too big of a leap of faith. So instead, we're going to jump over to the much more interesting image, and as you guys see, this one right here. So this, I think we could all figure out exactly what's going on here, because as we all probably played Blood of the Dead, you would have seen not only in the intro cutscene, but also in the spawn room, these exact same pods. And of course, inside both the intro and in-game of Blood of the Dead, we had 4 of these pods, well, technically 5, which of course had Great War Richtofen, but I don't think that's too relevant to this. But regardless, we had 4 main ones, and inside of them were none other than Victis. And I think putting like 1 and 1 together, I think we could figure that the person that's kind of emerging from this pod is probably going to be the Mob of the Dead crew. I mean, let's be honest, it makes perfect sense. I'm joking, guys. Of course, it's not the Mob of the Dead crew. It's probably going to be Victis right here, guys. This is probably Stolinger or somebody like that. I mean, it could be anybody but Misty, because, I mean, it looks like anybody but Misty's hands. So that's a thing, and this probably means we're going to see Victis all over again. And the reason why it seems like this, really more than just, you know, the obvious imagery that we're seeing right here, but more than that, I mean, what it actually says on the tweet, it says actually, "My friends, old and new, we stand on the brink of victory." This sounds something like Primus Nikolai telling all the people, because he says, "My friends, both old and new," talking about the ones he's been with, and of course, assuming Victis has now joined them, he's saying, of course, new, and that's why he would say old and new. We stand on the brink of victory. And I'm a little curious when exactly he's going to say this. It sounds like he's going to say rather in the intro cutscene, or probably maybe a conversational quote along the Easter egg or something like that, but, you know, it just seems like that's going to be the case. But a couple questions surrounding this. Like, it's all fine and dandy that this is Victis, and Victis have awoken. They're going to join this great war fight that we're going to do inside DLC 4, and that's all fine and dandy, but how exactly is this all working? Because last we've checked, these pods were inside the Alcatraz pocket dimension, where of course we thought it was all shut off, and it kind of just, you know, went all black and white in the end of Blood of the Dead's ending cutscene. So the question is, I mean, if that's the case, how are they going to get out of there? I mean, how is Victis going to get out of this pocket dimension that seems like it was all closed off? And, you know, how's that going to work? I mean, I just don't know. And another thing I want to make sure everyone notes is that if this is inside the Blood of the Dead or Alcatraz Pocket Dimension, then we do know that they're probably going to wake up, go upstairs, and see probably Primus Richtofen kind of dead there. So maybe there's something going on there. I don't know, but regardless, it is something that you should keep in the back of your heads. But regardless, the reason I've kept caution about when I said assuming that this is happening in the Alcatraz Pocket Dimension is because during the comics, we actually saw some cryopods appear to be inside the house, and that could be what these are. Maybe these are something entirely different. And this has been a big question in the zombie storyline for a while, ever since we saw both the timeline and inside the comics, because inside the timeline and even in-game, especially in Blood of the Dead, we saw that Primus were in the Alcatraz Pocket Dimension, but in the comics, it most definitely seemed like they were inside the house or the basement of the house, and it's just something that we found very weird and strange, and we just don't have an explanation. But maybe that's going to be what's going on here, but again, we just aren't really sure. So there's really a lot of possibilities that could be going on here. But regardless, even if they are in the Alcatraz Pocket Dimension, or even if they're at the house, the question still stands. Like, how exactly are they going to, kind of assuming that what we're assuming is going to happen is that, of course, Victis is going to meet up with Primus and Ultimus, assuming that's what's going to happen. I mean, how is that even going to happen? How are they going to meet up with them? Are they going to jump back to the Alcatraz Pocket Dimension, see dead Richtofen, and be all like, hey, what the heck is that all about? Because it seems like everyone's forgot about that. But then they're just going to pick up Victis and then leave, or is Victis going to leave on their own and meet up with them? I'm just not entirely sure. And I'm curious, if that's the case, when are they going to do this? I mean, when are they going to meet up with them? Is it going to be during the intro cutscene, just kind of off screen, or maybe we're just never going to see it as a whole? We're just going to be told it happens, or like I said, in an intro cutscene, or is it actually going to happen during the game? Like, imagine this is during the Easter egg or something like that. That'd be pretty epic. But I find that a little doubtful, is because this image that we're seeing right here is probably from the intro cutscene, if we're being completely honest, because this looks like what we had for the intro cutscene during Alpha Omega. So, you know, this is probably part of the intro cutscene, so it's just going to be during the intro cutscene where they explain how this is all happening. Hopefully we'll be getting that intro cutscene very soon, because I'm excited to see it. But regardless, that's all I could say about that. Honestly, that was a lot more than I thought. I really didn't know what I was going to say with this to begin with. I thought this was going to be like a 5-second video, but you know, there was a good amount of things to talk about. But regardless, I'd love to hear what you guys are all thinking about this. Are you guys excited? You guys liking what you're seeing? I mean, there's nothing to really dislike about what we're seeing, but there's nothing to like too much. But we're going to have to wait and see how this all plays out. But I'd love to hear your guys' ideas, theories, and just crazy ideas for what's going on with these images and how they may relate to something. I'd love to hear those thoughts down in the comments. But that's about it for me. If you guys did enjoy the video and you're excited for more Black Ops 4 DLC 4 Zombies content, then definitely like, subscribe, bell, share, and all that great stuff, because I'm going to be doing more of this content as it comes closer and closer to release date. But that's about it for me. I'll catch you guys next stream, video, or whatever it may be, and laters, guys.